Good afternoon. This is All India Radio and I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay with the Midday News. The headlines. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India-Uganda Business Forum in Kampala, says investment in India is easy for anyone. BJP moves privilege motion against Congress President Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha. Congress too moves privilege motions against Prime Minister and Defence Minister over Rafale aircraft deal. Madras High Court sets aside lower court order discharging former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran and his brother Kalanidhi in alleged illegal telephone exchange case. Hardik Patel sentenced to 2 years in jail in 2015 Mehsana riots case. In Pakistan, 33 killed and more than 20 injured in a blast in Balochistan's Quetta. And US President Donald Trump says Washington is ready to make a real deal with Iran over its nuclear program. Prime Minister Narendra Modi today said India is a policy-driven governance where there is a tax stability and predictable taxation. Addressing the India-Uganda Business Forum in Kampala, Mr. Modi said it is easy to invest in India. He said there is a need to fully exploit the favorable conditions for doing business between the two countries. Mr. Modi asserted that New Delhi is willing to take steps to address the trade deficit between the two countries.
मैं जब युगांडा और भारत के आर्थिक संबंधों की तुलना करता हूं, तो मैं मानता हूं कि परफेक्ट विन विन सिचुएशन वाला हमारी पोजीशनिंग है। लेकिन हम कम पड़ रहे हैं कि इस परिस्थिति का लाभ नहीं उठा पा रहे हैं। और अगर हम सही रूप से चीजों को स्ट्रेटजाइज करें, तो मैं जरूर मानता हूं कि हम बहुत कुछ इससे भी आगे निकल सकते हैं। राष्ट्रपति जी की शिकायत सही है, हमारे बीच में ट्रेड इम्बैलेंस है और युगांडा का ये हक बनता है कि भारत ट्रेड बैलेंस के लिए 2, 4, 10 कदम आगे चलना पड़े तो चलना चाहिए और मैं इसके लिए तैयार हूं।
Mr. Modi said India has always been there with Uganda in the time of crisis.
ये इतिहास गवाह है कि जब अफ्रीका संघर्ष से काल से गुजर रहा था, जब दुनिया में कोई ये मानता नहीं था कि यहां से कुछ मिल सकता है, कुछ ले सकते हैं। अगर अफ्रीका से जुड़ना, युगांडा से जुड़ना मतलब देना ही देना है। वो भी एक कालखंड था। उस समय दुनिया में किसी को फुर्सत नहीं थी युगांडा के दुखों को देखने की, अफ्रीका के संघर्ष को देखने की, अफ्रीका के संकटों को देखने की। एक अकेला हिंदुस्तान था जो कंधे से कंधा मिला करके अफ्रीका के साथ, युगांडा के साथ खड़ा था।
Ugandan President Yoweri Museveni exhorted the business community from both countries to tap the opportunities available for enhancing trade and investment. Mr. Modi is now addressing the Ugandan Parliament, the first Indian Prime Minister to do so. Let us now go over live to Kampala for his address.
Dignity, equity and opportunity for every human being. Nowhere did it apply more than in Africa. 20 years before our independence, the leaders of our national movements had linked India's freedom struggle to the fight against colonial rule around the world, especially Africa. Even as India stood on the threshold of independence, the fate of Africa was not far from our minds. Mahatma Gandhi firmly believed that India's freedom will remain incomplete so long as Africa remains in bondage. Free India did not forget her words. India pursued Afro-Asian solidarity in Bandung. We stood firm in opposition to apartheid in South Africa. We took leading and bold position in former Rhodesia, which is now known as Zimbabwe, in Guinea-Bissau, Angola, and Namibia. Gandhiji's peaceful resistance inspired leaders like Nelson Mandela Desmond Tutu, Albert Luthuli, Julius Nyerere, and Kwame Nkrumah. History is witness to the success of the ancient wisdom of India and Africa and the enduring sense of peaceful resistance.
You were listening to the Prime Minister's address to the Ugandan Parliament in Kampala. Mr. Modi is in Uganda on the second leg of his three-nation tour to Africa. From Uganda, Mr. Modi will head to South Africa to attend the 10th BRICS Summit beginning in Johannesburg today. More from our correspondent.
The summit will take off with the BRICS Business Forum meet where Mr. R. Davies, Minister of Trade and Industry South Africa, will give opening and welcome remarks. This will be followed by a keynote address by the host President Cyril Ramaphosa. The plenary sessions will start tomorrow where all the heads of the states of BRICS nations will be issuing statements and leaders and delegates will be deliberating on the key agenda and core issues. A report on the achievements made by BRICS Bank will also be presented by the President of the BRICS Bank, Mr. K.V. Kamath. This will be followed by signing of MOUs and agreements by leaders. Saurabh Kumar, Johannesburg, South Africa.
Congress and BJP today moved the privilege motion against each other in the Lok Sabha over the Rafale deal. BJP MP Anurag Thakur moved the privilege motion against Congress President Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha. He alleged that Mr. Gandhi had lied to the House on the issue of Rafale deal. Congress also moved the privilege motions in the Sabha against Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Defence Minister Nirmala Sitharaman for allegedly misleading the House over Rafale aircraft deal during no confidence motion debate. During the 0 hour, Congress leader Mallikarjun Kharge moved the motion against the Prime Minister, urging Speaker Sumitra Mahajan to send the issue to the Privilege Committee. Responding to it, Speaker Sumitra Mahajan said the matter is under her consideration. The government today rejected outright the opposition's claim of forceful detention and delisting of voters in Assam. Minister of State for Home Affairs Kiren Rijiju termed the allegation as a lie while responding to a 0-hour mention by Dr. Sanjay Singh of the Congress in the Rajya Sabha. Mr. Singh accused the state government of discrimination based on regional identities. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 Lashkar-e-Taiba terrorists were killed in an encounter with security forces in Anantnag district today. Security officials said the gunfight started after a joint team of Army, Special Operations Group of State Police and CRPF launched a search and cordon operation at Kotwali Gully in Lal Chowk area late last night. This is All India Radio giving you the news. For quick news updates around the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts. The Madras High Court today set aside a lower court order discharging all the accused, including the Maran brothers, in the alleged illegal telephone exchange case. Allowing the appeal filed by the CBI Justice G. Jayachandran directed a special CBI court to frame charges and conclude the trial within 12 months from the date of receipt of the copy of the order. The CBI had alleged that an illegal private telephone exchange was set up at the residence of Dayanidhi Maran during 2004-2006 when he was the telecom minister, and it was used for the business transactions involving the Sun network owned by Kalanithi. The Delhi High Court today granted Congress leader and former Union Minister P. Chidambaram interim protection from arrest till the 1st of next month in the INX media case. Justice K. Pathak, while granting interim relief, directed Mr. Chidambaram to cooperate with the Enforcement Directorate, ED's investigation as and when required and not to leave the country without court's prior permission. A Gujarat court today sentenced Patidar Kota agitation leader Hardik Patel to 2 years imprisonment in a case of rioting and arson in Visnagar town in Gujarat in 2015. Judge V.P. Agarwal of the Sessions Court at Visnagar held Patel and his 2 aides guilty under the Indian Penal Code sections pertaining to rioting, arson, damage to property and unlawful assembly. The other 14 accused were let off by the court for want of enough evidence against them. The Haryana government today moved the Supreme Court seeking early hearing in the matter related to its row with Punjab over the Satluj-Yamuna Link SYL Canal. The matter was mentioned before a bench headed by Chief Justice Deepak Mishra. The bench asked Haryana's council to approach the Apex Court's registry for listing of the matter before an appropriate bench. President Ramnath Kovind today interacted with farmers and members of the self-help groups and Maoist-affected tribals Dantewada district of Chhattisgarh. Mr. Kovind is on a 2-day visit to the state. The department.
After reaching Jagdalpur today, the divisional headquarters of Bastar, Shri Kovind visited integrated agriculture farm at Hiranar village in Dantewada district. The farm is spread over 35 acres and developed by the Krishi Vigyan Kendra. President interacted with farmers involved in organic farming. He also held a discussion with various self-help groups who run rice mill, poultry farming of Kadaknat species, and the ones who drive e-rickshaws. During his visit to mouse-affected Bastar and Dantewada districts of Chhattisgarh, President will visit various institutions of education and agriculture.
In Manipur, the Agriculture Department is working round the clock to distribute soil health cards to farmers to improve the soil health and make them aware about the pressing need of using fertilizers as per requirement of the cultivated areas. Here is a ground report from an Imphal correspondent.
State Agriculture Director Fairuzam Rajendra told AIR News, in the fiscal year 2017-18, the department had distributed 20,000 soil health cards to farmers. He said the department has a target to distribute 10,700 soil health cards in the current fiscal year, out of which 50% has already been achieved and the remaining will be distributed within 3 months. Thangzam Samanand Singh, farmer from Wickup village in Imphal East, said using fertilizers in his agricultural areas as per requirement has enhanced agricultural production.
Manipur Agriculture Department.
I sent soil samples from my agricultural field for testing. After getting it done, the pH value of my agricultural area was found to be 5.2. When I used the required quantity of fertilizers, it significantly increased the production.
Winning Sungbam Ibohalvi, farmer from Lamboi Khol village in Imphal said, using soil health card helps the farmers economically.
We have got a lot of benefits. Using only the required fertilizers has significantly decreased the quantity of purchasing fertilizers. Horticulture practice has also been improved and agricultural practice has become more cost effective.
In Manipur, more than 25,000 farmers have been benefited from soil health card in the last 2 years. Ibomsa Sharma, AIR News, Imphal.
In Pakistan, where polling is underway to elect a new parliament and provincial assemblies, large-scale violence has claimed 33 lives. According to local media reports, a suicide blast targeting a police van killed at least 31 people, including some policemen, and injured dozens in Quetta, the provincial capital of restive Balochistan province. A police spokesperson was quoted as saying by Geo News that the suicide bomber wanted to enter a polling station. In Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's Swabi district, supporters of two rival parties exchanged fire outside a polling station, killing a worker of former cricketer Imran Khan's Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf and injuring 2. And the person was killed in firing outside Mirpur Khas polling station in NA 219 in Digri area. Voting in Pakistan started at 8:30 a.m. Indian time. The counting of votes will be taken up on the spot soon after the conclusion of the polling process at 6 in the evening. U.S. President Donald Trump has said Washington is ready to make what he called a real deal with Iran over its nuclear program. Addressing the National Convention of the Veterans of Foreign Wars in Kansas City last night, Mr. Trump said Washington pulled out of the 2015 nuclear agreement between Iran and the world powers in May as it was a disaster. The U.S. President's comments came days after he sent out a tweet to Iranian President Hassan Rouhani saying that Tehran will face consequences if it threatened Washington. The tweet followed Mr. Rouhani's caution to Mr. Trump about the devastation of a U.S.-Iran wartime conflict. And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addresses India-Uganda Business Forum in Kampala, says investment in India is easy for anyone. BJP moves privilege motion against Congress President Rahul Gandhi in Lok Sabha. Congress too moves privilege motions against Prime Minister and Defence Minister over Rafale aircraft deal. Madras High Court sets aside lower court order discharging former Telecom Minister Dayanidhi Maran and his brother Kalanidhi in alleged illegal telephone exchange case. Hardik Patel sentenced to 2 years in jail in 2015 Mehsana riots case. In Pakistan, 33 killed and more than 20 injured in a blast in Balochistan's Quetta. And US President Donald Trump says Washington is ready to make a real deal with Iran over its nuclear program. And with that we end the Midday News.